Tim's convinced I'm terrified. I'm literally just wandering around downtown Philadelphia right now by myself. It's fine. Oh my gosh, you guys, I got to like cosplay being a real actual adult, even though I am 25. That's neither here nor there. I got to go on my first like big work conference, which was so fun. It was in Philadelphia. I got to go to the American Library Association's annual conference, and I learned so much, had so much fun. And I also got some reading done, which was really fun. So I actually had every intention of rereading Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross, because I loved that book when I read it last year, and I have not gotten around to reading the sequel. And I thought, you know, what better time than when I'm going to be on a, you know, 2.5-hour plane ride and then a 2-hour train ride to reread Divine Rivals and start, what's the second one called? Anyway, started the sequel. So I read like the first half on the way to Philadelphia. And then I was so tired the whole time I was there because it was hot and I was sweaty and I was doing all the things, going and seeing all the things because I was in a new city and I'm not gonna just sit around in my hotel room. So I didn't do much reading while I was there. And then I remembered that I had an arc of Arcana Academy by Elise Korva, and I saw that the release date was coming up. And I don't know, I was in the mood for something a little darker, a little bit more in-your-face romance, I guess. So I guess I needed a romantasy. So I kind of put Divine Rivals on the back burner, and I picked up Arcana Academy. And then I binged that the whole entire way home, and I finished it. So yeah. So basically, the whole plot of this is we open up and Clara, the protagonist, is in jail. Homegirl is in the slammer. She's been there for a year at the time that the book opens because she illegally practiced magic in this kingdom where you are only allowed to practice magic if you go through this special academy, right? And the only people that can make it through this academy are like the elite of the elites, right? And she was not one of those people. This magic system is based on tarot cards, so they have special magical inks that they have to use and special paper and different strategies and things to make these magic cards. And she was part of a group that was basically black marketing those supplies. They had a person on the inside that was like funneling them out and all kinds of things. So she gets caught and she is in jail. Sad. And while she's in jail, she starts making tarot cards for the Warren. The crown prince, the second born prince, his name is Kalis. I'm not really sure how you're supposed to say it. So Kalis shows up where Clara is in jail. And he's like, so I hear you're making, illegally making tarot cards. Let's not do that. You're sentenced to death. Well, crap. So they leave her in this office, and basically, long story short, she makes this huge prison break, essentially. And it was all a trap. It was all a ploy to see what kind of powers she actually had. So she escapes from prison, and our favorite little princeling shows back up and is like, hey girl, the only way you're gonna survive is you're gonna pretend to be engaged to me, and you're also gonna pretend to be the long lost heiress of this noble clan that I actually killed. I actually eradicated this clan that you're now technically a part of. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna create this magic card that's gonna allow us to change the whole world. Nothing could go wrong, right? What I will conclude about my thoughts on Arcana Academy is the magic system that has been created throughout the story is so interesting. It's very complex, and I'm really excited to see like kind of what else happens with this, because there's all this lore behind this, and there's all these different, you know, trains of thought and or schools of thought about how these cards should be created and how they should be used, and what happens if you mess up on one and it backfires on you, and can you harness these reverse cards that are not supposed to be used that way. And so I'm really interested to see as we go forward in this series how the author chooses to capitalize on that, because it is really interesting. I do wish there's a little bit more done with the political side of things, because there is a lot of interesting court politics things going on, but because our protagonist is removed from that, she's at this academy, even though she is right there with the prince, he's keeping her in the dark about all these political things that are happening, even though she wants to know what's happening. But it's just, it ain't working out. He's not telling her. And so it's going to be really interesting, I think, to see how the author kind of navigates that. So, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
For 2 months, she'll barely move, conserving all her energy.
I honestly don't know how to explain how awful it is to be sick in the summertime. I have a sinus infection, and I can't get cool because it's 100 degrees outside. It's brutal out here, y'all. It's brutal. I don't know if anybody else feels this way when they're sick, but it is so hard for me to read when I am not feeling well, because I just want to like lay and mope. But it's also sad because generally all I want to do is take my mind off of not feeling good, and the way I do that is by reading. And so when I can't read, I get really sad. I have been reading. That sounds dramatic. But I've also been doing a lot of sleeping, which doesn't leave room for reading much. But I am almost halfway through. I have to look up the name of this, because in the veins of, let me pull up the cover for you. Let me do that. In the veins of The Drowning. If you follow me on TikTok, you know that I was looking for like a piratey sea fantasy romance situation. And I remember that I had an arc of this book and that pub date was coming up, so I started it. Is it like the best thing that I have ever read? No. But is it really fun? Absolutely. And it has really fast pacing, which I am really enjoying. And it has a really interesting take on like sirens and siren lore and all that jazz. So I am really am excited to see how it goes. I'm hoping that now that I have had a steroid shot in my butt, and have started a round of antibiotics, that I will be able to focus on something that is not the back of my eyelids. So we'll see. What do you think, Millie? I'm going to attempt to finish In the Veins of the Drowning tonight. It's Monday. It was a long day at work. It's super hot outside, but I have like 50 pages left. I'm so close to being done. So I'm gonna attempt it. I'm gonna try. Is this really the time? It's a carcass. Okay, so I finished In the Veins of the Drowning. And I must say, I did end up really enjoying it. In the Veins of the Drowning is about Imogen, who is a siren, and she has grown up in a kingdom where sirens are hunted. She goes to great pains to hide the fact that that is who she is, until she's engaged to be married to a general in the king's army, who spends his days killing sirens. She kind of accidentally, maybe not so accidentally, kills him the night before their wedding, and has to boogie on out of there. And she kind of finds herself on this journey of discovering her powers and discovering who she is. There's a lot of twists and turns in this story, but I kept finding myself wanting more from the world building. They have this really interesting belief system with these gods and goddesses who like walked around men, and they had these kids, and the characters in the story are the descendants of these gods that are still being worshipped. But not much time was spent on that, right? And I would have really liked to have gone deep into that lore, because that is one of my favorite things in fantasy books. And I would have also really have liked to see more about the magic system as well. Imogen has these powers and these abilities that she just like knows how to use, even though she's hidden that part of herself her whole life. And she just like miraculously is able to just tame these. Like there's a little bit of a learning curve that happens, but nothing like I am used to seeing in my fantasy books, I guess, which doesn't mean it's inherently bad. I just wish there had been more of that, to see her really come into her own. But this is the first book in a series, so I am interested to see what happens in the later books if she kind of goes on that journey a little bit more. I also really liked the romance in the story. It will break your heart, but like in a good way. And I am really interested to see how it develops over time going forward into the rest of the books in the series. I'm not sure how many, I don't want to say that I saw it's supposed to be a trilogy, but we will see. Were there issues? Most definitely. There was some wonky pacing. At sometimes the relationship between the male and female protagonist almost moved too quickly for my liking. I'm very much an angst person. I want to see the angst and read about it. And I am very much it's the journey, not the destination, as far as my romance and my fantasy books go. Like, I want the yearning and the angst. And somebody at work described it as like Mr. Darcy's hand flex. Like, that's what I want to see. And so we went from like 0 to 100 really quickly in the veins of the drowning. So I think if you've read Darkwater Daughter by H.M. Long and you really enjoyed that story but wish that the romance in it was a little bit more at the forefront of the plot, I think you will really enjoy In the Veins of the Drowning. And I am really excited to see kind of where this story goes from here. Do you guys want to make some bread? I have great news for you. It is Friday. I got off work early, but my house just so happens to be a pigsty. So we're gonna take care of that now. Let's recap the month, shall we? Okay, so July was a very good reading month for me. I read 2 whole books. I have been so busy with just life that it feels like such an accomplishment to read that many books in 1 month. Like, no joke. I feel so accomplished. Because, hold on, where's my phone? Pause. Although my door was also unlocked, so that's scary. Let's see. Amount of books read per year. According to the AI Google, the average number of books read per year in the US is around 12. So if you read more than 1 book a month, you are already reading more than the average US citizen. So I think I'm doing pretty good. I am above average because I read 2 books. I feel like I forgot a book that I read, maybe. Arcana Academy and In the Veins of the Drowning. I started like 3 different books and then got distracted and stopped them, but that's what I generally do. So between Arcana Academy and In the Veins of the Drowning, I could not tell you which one was my favorite. Like craft-wise and plot-wise and character-wise and magic system-wise and like prose-wise, Arcana Academy was definitely the stronger book, but like character-wise and like exciting new ideas and a relationship that I really, really loved and supported and like just fun like vibes, In the Veins of the Drowning really, really wins out. So I don't know. I don't know which one is my favorite. I gave them both 4 stars. In the Veins of the Drowning, that might be a little, it might just be a little bit generous considering some of the plot issues and pacing issues with that one. But just the main core of the story was so good. And I can tell you, between Arcana Academy and In the Veins of the Drowning, I have thought a whole lot more about In the Veins of the Drowning than I have about Arcana Academy, which I think says a lot. Because to me, it's the books that stick with you that end up being standouts more so than the books that don't. Because even though I felt like Arcana Academy was definitely better written, In the Veins of the Drowning just had that oomph to it that I just love. It's got in my fantasy books. It had like the yearning and the tension and all of that. And I liked it a lot. So those are my thoughts. As far as the month of August goes, I do not believe in TBRs. So you can best believe this mood reader has no idea where this new month will take her. But I did start the Raven Scholar. I have been heavily, heavily influenced. And I gotta say, I'm like 50 pages in and I am very, very intrigued. So we shall see how that goes. It's a chunky boy though. I don't actually have a physical copy. I have it on my Kindle. I bought it on sale. But like, I feel like I've read for a while and I'm still like only 20% in. So we'll see how that goes. Hopefully I'll be able to finish it and a few other books. I really want to reread Heartless Hunter because I really enjoyed it. For one, I loved that book. And 2, I have not gotten around to the sequel yet. And I saw somebody on TikTok the other day say that the sequel was better than the first one. And I said, I'll be the judge of that. So I want to get back to that soon. I also want to finish my reread of Divine Rivals so I can pick up the sequel to that one too. There's a theme here. I have not been very good about finishing sequels. Finishing series. So maybe that's what I'll focus on in August. I don't know. I also have a slew of arcs that I need to get to before they published, so maybe we'll do that. But other than that, we will see where the month takes me. So if you made it this far in this video, drop a comment below and tell me what your favorite read of July was, and I will talk to you later. Bye!